art for me, or the relevance of art, is that it is like a sort of mirror that you don't want to see the reflection all the time. Which is interesting because a reflection um, is not always comfort comfortable. So I think it can be beautiful, it can be comforting, but it can also disturb you, but always in an, I think, in a, yeah, it's it's very open. So if you want to engage, it's possible, but it will still have some resonance in your back of your head, or you can go for the big confrontation, and then it's a learning situation. So I guess for me, that is the relevance of art, not as a maker or an artist, but as an art viewer or consumer or participant, because I think art is very participatory, or more than we think.
Well, that's awesome, and it's awesome that you set that up for me, because I want to talk a bit about you working in collaboration, because that is that thing, right? Because you just said, you're looking at art making and the impact of art making from the perspective of, the artist, and then from the viewer or the person experiencing the artwork. And I want to shift that a little bit, and I want to talk a little bit about the two of you working in collaboration with each other, and how you become the viewer and the maker. You reflect on each other.
Yeah, you're dropping the bomb. I think I do installations or 3D art because of that. That I'm not the author anymore at one point, or the artist in this case. I become also a participant because the work has a character on its own, or it has a body. It's very physical. So sometimes, yeah, something that is in your head is not always the same that the object or the installation is in physicality. And the physicality in my case makes the trigger most of the time, because you recognize things, you want to occupy it, because sometimes it's a space, you want to occupy it again, or find your place in it. But then the installation has a way of directing you. It's like, I often refer to a scripted space. So it's very deliberate, it has mechanics, and the audience can change their position, that it becomes more active, but there is a guidance in it. So it's the spectator is active, and in my case also, from the idea, from my sketchbook, the process, the making, and then let's say that it's in manifested in reality. It changes my position immensely, because I don't have control anymore, and I think I kind of like that, if my work stands on its own and has control over how we perceive it in some kind of way.
So are you saying that you're in collaboration with the space?
I guess that it's a sort of mixture between space, or how we perceive spatiality. We immediately connect memory and emotion to it, and position, because if for example, I made a work, Transit, I think in 2009, so it's quite a mature work. I refuse to say old, because old is not a good word for things. It's mature, so it has done his duty already, and it's evolving also. And Transit is like a corridor of 10 meters long. And at the end, you see a video image of a bedroom, and it seems it's in gray tones. And you see a bed, and it feels cozy. And then the longer you are looking at it, you start to wonder if this is a cozy space. So you feel constantly, because the curtain is moving and the light is changing, someone could be coming, but nobody comes. And then you start to question, but why is this curtain so short? And this duvet is not very nice. It's prickly, so it's scratchy if you're under it. And there's a corner of the bed, and the nightstand is a chair. So the construction of the ideal falls away, and you get annoyed because the corridor is built actually too small. So you get, and then you have to go back without an answer. So transit is about those periods in your life that you are wanting to go forward and you're longing for some things, some securities maybe, and then it doesn't, how do you say it? It doesn't give it to you. So then you have to take your expectation back and go back in the real world. And the whole thing looks like a construction. So you know that this is let's say a lie that you're going into, but it's the physicality is real, and the trigger is real. And for me, this piece was after my first real big love story. So this was my breakup and how I felt. So the one person bedroom that feels deserted and doesn't give comfort anymore is for me the baseline. But I got people saying that, oh, this reminds me of the death of my parents. So it's about mourning, and so, or not feeling fulfilled after waiting or investing in something, and then you realize that you have to go on.
But